Hello and welcome to Link Ahead, the City of Dublin podcast. I'm Lindsay Weisenhour, the Director of Communications and Public Information.
And I'm Bruce Edwards, Digital Brand Manager for the city. We have not one, but two guests at our City Hall studio here today to talk about local businesses, economic development, and what makes Dublin such a great place to call your business home.
Our guests today are just the right people to ask. Please welcome City of Dublin Economic Development Director Jennifer Klus and Chief Operating Officer for the Dublin Chamber of Commerce, Jenny Amorose. Welcome to Link Ahead.
Thank you.
And this is our first time with two guests, Bruce.
I know. This is, I'm sure it'll go great.
I'm sure, especially because we got a Jenny and a Jennifer.
Oh,
so nothing could go wrong. Well, we have a great mix of new blood and tried and true blood here with us today because the Amorose name is well known here in Dublin, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And Jennifer, you've been in the city for what, about 8 months now?
Yep, just about.
So let's begin with a pulse check from both of you. Jennifer, how would you describe the health and wellness of economic development as we start to close out 2022?
Well, it has been an interesting year, as you might imagine. I think businesses coming out of COVID and this post-pandemic environment are still trying to find their way in some cases in terms of their business models and whether or not they're staying with a hybrid or a remote work environment. So I think that's continues to be a challenge for not only the businesses here in Dublin, but in the region and in the state. So I think that is certainly top of mind for most of our businesses that we deal with.
So, Jenny, similar question to you. What are you hearing from chamber members about our business climate?
I meet with about 200 businesses, every week.
Wow.
And some of them are really in growth mode. What happened during COVID might have been a good thing for their business model. But there's others that are struggling, due to the employee shortage, the supply chain issues, the cost of everything, is
Sure.
going up. Highest inflation in about 40 years. So it really is a mixed bag of what businesses are experiencing here in Dublin.
Between the two of you and your respective staffs, I know that you have this established feedback loop going on about needs, wants, challenges out there. So let's talk about that. Jenny, what do our businesses need or want right now?
They need affordable office space. Dublin has beautiful office space here. We also have a strong infrastructure, which that is definitely required, whether it's, IT or the beautiful boulevards that we have. IT is very important, all the utilities here. They need to control their costs. Talent recruitment is a big one I bet we'll get into discussion with today. Finding and keeping good employees at reasonable wages is very important for the employer.
Yeah, everywhere you go today, you hear things like that. Everybody's hiring, whether you're going to Panera or Dick's Sporting Goods or your favorite restaurant. Jennifer, I know you and your team have done a lot for the local community with recruiting efforts and things like that. What are you hearing?
The same thing that Jenny mentioned. Talent recruitment is top of mind for most of our employers, and there are ways that we have tried to help our local businesses find and attract that talent to Dublin. We know this is a great place to do business. We know businesses want to locate here. We know people want to work here and live here, but it's how do we connect those dots for people? One of the things that we did most recently, in fact, just last week, was host a talent recruitment effort aimed at our local businesses and connecting those looking for jobs with those companies that have positions available through an asynchronous platform so that it was tailored to both the employer and employee needs on both ends. And it was our second time doing this. It was wildly successful this time. We learned a lot after we did it the first time over the summer, but we far exceeded our expectations on number of people looking for jobs who were engaging with our employers, the number of businesses we had signed up, the number of interviews or chats that we hosted. So we will be looking to do this again in 2023.
So, Jennifer, talk about how your team takes that feedback and helps businesses find their needs and wants.
Sometimes it's a matter of just pointing them in the right direction in terms of, with this topic of workforce recruitment. How do we connect the people looking with the jobs that are out there? Because you can look anywhere and find it, but there isn't really a central location that people go to regularly. They cruise all the job boards,
Sure.
They look at the postings the chamber has. This was just another way to connect those dots for people looking for jobs in our like I said, our companies who have these available positions and trying to keep the local talent here locally.
Jennifer, can you talk about our broader economic development strategy?
We are in the middle of refreshing that strategy post COVID. And with the recent, well, not so recent, the earlier this year announcement of Intel in the region. And so, again, back to that conversation about talent recruitment, there are some concerns about what Intel does to the workforce pool, if you will, in central Ohio. And all of the communities are addressing this in their own unique ways. But what we do on a regular basis and how we approach it is we have very distinct development nodes that we focus on. We help streamline the development process. So it's kind of this one stop shop. So if you're looking at doing a project in here in Dublin, we can get together building, zoning, engineering, economic development, all the relevant folks you might need to talk to as you work through your own process. We have our targeted industry clusters that we work towards. And as you might imagine, we are heavy into the tech sector. We have a growing medical and biomedical industry cluster here as well that we're focusing on. And then one of the most important things we do is foster partnerships with other organizations like our friends at the Chamber and like Jobs Ohio and One Columbus to help facilitate both the business development and the growth, the talent recruitment, and bringing people to the region, whether it is to live, work, or play.
For both of you, and let's start with Jenny, what new initiatives are on the horizon for 23 and beyond?
Workforce development is obviously number one on that list. And we're working with the city's team as well as Dublin City Schools to help identify workforce pathways, building those partnerships with area business and to be able to access their needs. So we have a variety of things that are going on. We're starting at the middle school and high school levels. For instance, on December 6th, we're having Dublin City Schools into the Chamber facility. We're inviting in all of our business community partners. We're trying to build that database for the schools so we can connect our students with our employers and identifying what those employers' needs are. What type of a workforce do they see that they will need in the future? And how can we build those students with those skills now? So, that's just one thing we're doing. We're also doing a Work in Dublin job and internship fair. We're doing that in April. It will be at Dublin Scioto High School. And the thing about that is we've kind of changed the format of that now. So it happens during the school day. All the kids can register, no matter what school they're in, for the program. They can hop on a bus. That bus will take them over to Dublin Scioto High School, and we will have the businesses there to meet with them. So there's just a lot of different types of programs like that that both the city's economic development department, the Dublin City Schools, and the Dublin Chamber are working on. So we're really excited.
We've had a couple, and I'm sure Lindsay would agree with me, YPA students come in from Dublin City Schools. And we've had a couple that were started as a YPA student. They're seniors, junior seniors at a school, go to college, and then we hire them as an intern. Like it's so refreshing to see how professional these students are when they come to work for us.
They have amazing skill sets. I actually have a communications intern in at the Dublin Chamber right now. They help write social media
Right.
posts. They, design flyers and promotional materials. They help us coordinate mailings to businesses and emails. So it is just a natural fit to train them here at home in Dublin. And they'll go off. They may go to college and those type of things, come back, and then they become great employees. So, and they love the community. So it's a wonderful fit.
And Jennifer, how about you? What's on the horizon?
Well, like Jenny said, workforce and our partnership there and working with the local schools is certainly one of the top three things that we will be looking at. In addition to that, figuring out our place, Dublin's role in the Intel supply chain. Like I mentioned before, with that announcement earlier this year, that does have an impact on us from almost every aspect, whether it's workforce, competing businesses, supply chain vendors, that sort of thing. How do we position ourselves moving forward to capture some of the growth that will come to this region because of what Intel is doing? I think those are two of the key things, along with doing what we usually do every year. And our business retention and expansion visits are very important to us. That's how we keep the pulse of the local business community and figure out what they need, whether it's help from city, the chamber, how do we connect those dots again for them and their businesses with whatever challenge they're facing.
Jenny, it's hard to believe this, but Small Business Saturday is upon us. Holiday shopping season, and everyone's gearing up. How is the Chamber promoting that and encouraging people to support our local businesses as we head into the holiday season?
We have a couple different things going on. One is we do have a holiday stroll on Small Business Saturday to encourage people to come to downtown Dublin and visit the shops there. But we take it one step further than that. We do a support local holiday passport program. We had about 3,500 people participate in that last year. And so we've expanded that a bit this year. So it's going to run starting November 21st through December 31st. And what we're encouraging our community to do is go out, support local businesses. If you support six local businesses by only spending $10 at each one of those businesses, you can actually um, send your receipts in with us via email, circle the restaurants that you went to on the passport, and send those in, and we will actually distribute over $1,000 in gift cards to those that participate. It's
Wow.
a really fun program. People love to do it. And so, for instance, if you want to go to La Fleur Boutique or to the North Market or Johnson's Real Ice Cream, you're participating, you're supporting local business. And we know that $100 that you spend in the local community, actually 68 of those dollars stay back in our local economy. So it's just something that's really near and dear to my heart.
Sure.
Get out here and support these local businesses.
Yeah, that's great. And you can find that passport on your website.
You sure can. We'll have QR codes out there, and you can also download it at dublinchamber.org/winbig22.
I love it, and I think I'll have my passport completed by the end of the weekend.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
well,
too.
quick follow up for both of you because much has been said about the changing retail sector with Amazon ready to deliver anything to your house within 2 days or less, and big retailers offering shopping clubs. Talk about local retail. Does it have a future, and what are some things that make successful local retailers?
Well, I think the local retail adds to the vibrancy of a community. I think that is really important for that placemaking and branding and that sense of place. And that's why people want to come to a downtown area. And our downtown is lovely. So if you haven't been there, I would highly encourage you to take advantage of the Chambers program if this is your first time. I think that it's also important, this is a holiday season. We're talking about gift giving. I think it's very important though for us to remember that small businesses extend beyond the retail and restaurant industries and that we have a number of small businesses that are service providers or other related companies in Dublin that also could use your support. So when you are looking for anything, t-shirts, corporate gifts, please shop local.
I would say the same thing. Our small business owners, they're our neighbors. They're the ones that are providing jobs to whether it's our teenagers or our neighbors. They're the ones that donate to our local nonprofits, to our youth organizations, to our schools, our community events. So it's really important to support small business. And large business needs those small businesses in our community. So it really kind of helps our whole ecosystem, in Dublin.
All right, Jennifer, put you on the spot. Elevator pitch. I'm thinking about moving my company to Dublin. Why should I move to Dublin?
Dublin is strategically located in the greater Columbus metro region. We have a lot of assets to offer everything from infrastructure, and whether that infrastructure means roads to you, utilities, or our outstanding award winning broadband service. That is a key reason that people are attracted to our area. We are within, I think it's 60% of the US population in an 8-hour drive from this area in Ohio. And if you are in any kind of logistics business or just in time delivery or any kind of manufacturing, that is very important in your supply chain. We have a very strong tech sector in the greater Columbus area. It's concentrated in Dublin. And so for anybody in that tech industry, there is talent. There are similar and like-minded companies that you can learn from and grow with. in the region, and everyone is here to support you. I will tell you, coming from Cincinnati, that the vibe and the efforts towards collaboration and partnership are much greater in Central Ohio and especially in Dublin.
You talk about that, and we're also part of the Beta District, and just that spirit of collaboration with other municipalities, with Union County and Marysville, and that innovative spirit and getting rid of the bureaucracy and the red
Yeah.
tape. Everybody here is just willing to help work through problems together and seize opportunities together. So that's really great.
You don't often see it work this well.
City Council member John Ryder was part of a recent episode, and we asked him about the future, and he said, I won't use my John Ryder voice, but he said, we have to stay number one. And we all kind of laughed at it and said, no joking. But let's be honest, Dublin hits multiple lists about every year as the best place to do business. Do you both feel that pressure to be number one?
I would say it's more like winning and less like pressure.
Okay. All right.
Competitive.
I mean, we are competitive, but we have a great product to offer.
Sure.
I mean, we really, really do. And I think that's what attracts people who want to work here, people who want to live here, companies that want to come here and grow their businesses. Yeah, if there's some pressure, but there's so much to work with.
I agree. Dublin is a place that years and years ago, when the kids would go up and graduate from one of the high schools here in Dublin, they'd want to move to Chicago or New York or LA. And we've built a cool vibe here in Dublin, and those students now want to stay here. I personally don't feel pressure to feel number one, but we want to be number one. We are competitive with our local communities. It's a friendly competition, but we are always looking to expand the products and services that we offer here. And I think that that's what keeps Dublin so unique.
Well, Bruce asked that question about feeling pressure, and both of your eyes kind of lit up because you're competitive, and I can tell that you love this, and you do have a great product to sell. So, what is cool about your job? Start with Jennifer. What makes you light up and smile?
I love learning about what businesses do. It is so cool to walk through a business and understand what it is they do or sell or make or create. It is fascinating, and it's not, I don't work in that field. I don't make something like that. I don't do what they do. We help connect the dots. We help them achieve their goals, but there is a great sense of satisfaction in doing that for the business community. And I have been working in this field for a long, long time, and that never gets old.
We do have amazing businesses here. One of my favorite things is taking a group of people into a business and making those connections and then learning about everything that they do. So as we take that group in, the questions that come up from the individuals doing the tours, you learn something that you never even understood that business did.
You're not kidding. There are so many cool businesses here. We have a feature called Why Dublin, these videos, and we will constantly see these just amazing workplaces, and they're fun. They've got the good vibe, but they're also doing amazing things. So it's really cool to see.
Jenny, can you tell us about some of the founding members of the chamber? Like, how did it start out and who was involved?
Some of our founding members, if you think about Ashland Chemical, very involved in the community then. OCLC, I remember the day that they opened. Some of the big businesses that moved in really did make Dublin what it is today because
Right.
it attracted other businesses to the area, as well as Muirfield Village and the golf club up there.
Let's talk about both of your respective backgrounds. Jennifer, you started in your current role this year after spending years in economic development in the greater Cincinnati area. You once said your economic development career happened a little bit by accident, that doing this kind of work wasn't a career objective. But we have to say it comes pretty naturally to you. So tell us more about how you landed in this field.
Well, ironically enough, I started out working for a chamber of commerce in greater
Oh, wow.
Cincinnati. I did. So chambers are near and dear to my heart, always
Wonderful.
have been. But I worked at a chamber, and I was there for 7 or 8 years and did a variety of things. But one of the things that we were tasked with at that time, and I'm not going to tell you when because it would totally date me, we were in charge of economic development for that particular community. The city did not have a department. So when the city decided to take on that role, I switched from the chamber role into the city role. And that's how I fell into city government. So it was sort of by accident,
Okay.
but I discovered very early on in my career what I was meant to do. So I'm very lucky in that regard.
And Jenny, your mother, Marjorie Amorose, founded the Dublin Chamber, and I can't imagine the pressure and or pride that goes along with walking into a building with your mom's name on it every morning. And your sister is one of our city council members and our former mayor, Chris Amorose Grooms. You worked with your mom part-time at the chamber when you were in high school. Did that spark something in you then?
No, I think it really did. You know, back in the days, we weren't even a city yet. And the Chamber of Commerce was an office that was opened every day. And in the summertime, however, though, my mom liked to take a little bit of time off. So I would work in the office in the summer. I just absolutely loved meeting the new people, helping the businesses, directing people to different businesses, no matter what they were looking for. And it was just something that just came very naturally to me. They always say, you learn a lot around your kitchen table as a child, and I think I did learn a lot from my parents. So I'll never fill her shoes, but I do work hard every day to try to at least service our members and our business community really well.
Oh, great. And you do such a great job. And you have the office with a nice new renovation in downtown Dublin, a nice walkable area. So it's a great place to work.
Definitely.
So we mentioned the Amorose family being legendary in Dublin. Your mother was part of the commission that wrote the original charter for the city. She called it one of the most important things she's done. That must be both inspiring and grounding at the same time.
It is. Growing up, my dad was on planning and zoning and
Right.
on city council. My mom was running the chamber. Um, it was a way of life in our household. So it's kind of, I guess, not surprising that my sister and I, continue to provide community service back to the community that we grew up in and loved. My mom had a vision for Dublin. And so with my dad's family, we have 4 generations that are here in Dublin. They looked around the country, and they found the best of what was going on in the United States, and they wanted to bring some of that back here.
It's the one thing I love with doing this podcast when we had John Ryer on here.
Mhm.
It's hearing that perspective about this pride and this love and wanting to build something.
Right. Like my dad was a horticulture major, so he loved green space and parks and those type of things. And so does John, so
Yeah.
Sure does.
so you look at where the people's backgrounds come from, and people give what they have to give.
Sure.
And that was their background. So they knew that they wanted to make this community one of the best.
All right. Well, we have a tradition here on Link Ahead to end episodes with some rapid fire questions. We've never done this with 2 guests before, so
I don't
I'm
know how
really
it's gonna
looking
go. I
forward
really
to
don't
this.
know.
Okay, Jennifer, be honest. Were your parents concerned that you majored in history at Miami University?
No, liberal arts for the win.
All right. Sounds good.
Jenny, as the story goes, your mom was approached to start the chamber from another group that dubbed itself what? And hint, it's a name that likely wouldn't fly today.
The Dublin Businessmen Association.
Oh,
Mhm.
businessman.
Businessman.
Jennifer, your work in Clinton County included working at Wilmington Air Park, the highest volume cargo airport in Ohio. Tell us, what's the weirdest cargo you have ever heard about landing there?
I wish I could, but for security reasons, I cannot. But I
Man.
saw some interesting stuff.
Oh, come on, we won't tell
Oh,
anyone.
Yeah. Maybe off air.
Jenny, you started a major office renovation project, the Chamber, in 2021. Name the one thing you learned about construction that you'll remember always and forever.
Well, construction during COVID, I think what I learned was, and that I will always remember, these words: out of stock, and your shipment has been delayed.
Oh, nice.
All right, to both of you, favorite lunch spot in Dublin?
Harvest Pizza.
Goodness, just one?
I know.
Oh, maybe Dos Hermanos or Kona or Napa. I don't know.
Favorite dinner spot?
Right now it's J. Lou.
The Avenue.
Do you have a guilty pleasure food or drink at the Dublin Irish Festival?
Well, I'm a beer drinker.
That's allowed.
It's not Irish, but I love the cream puffs from Schmidt's.
If you had to take an out-of-town guest to one city landmark, what would it be?
Dublin Link Bridge.
Field of corn.
Oh, yeah. Good answer. Okay, not related to your work or career. Name something you'd like to take on, learn, or explore personally in 2023.
I'm going to learn a new language,
Which one?
Italian.
Nice.
Ooh.
I'm going to be exploring colleges with my son.
Ooh.
Enjoy.
Not Miami, I hope.
Oh, I told him he could go anywhere in
Oh,
Ohio.
boy.
Sorry, I'm a
Nice.
bobcat. I had to say that.
What's on your holiday shopping list this year?
I like to find my kids funny socks.
Ooh, I like
Socks. All right.
Peace and joy.
that. And we
Way to make
got
us
to
all
end
feel
there.
bad about ourselves.
What a great note to end on. So, Jenny Amorose and Jennifer Klus, thank you both so much for joining us on Link Ahead.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And to our listeners, thank you as well for taking the time to connect with your city. Tune in next time as we continue to explore the many personalities and experiences that make Dublin a thriving place to live, work, and grow.